think you should dance this week because everybody, all the members now watch the last couple of last Sunday shows because of the golf covers on it. So, and they were taking the mickey out of my dancing, which I didn't really dance. You never told me to dance. I was just doing that as a warm up, and then it suddenly became part of the show. So, I was using warm up moves when I should have been using my best moves.
Is that a complaint?
That's a complaint. It's more than a complaint.
I think all complaints now need to be in writing. How about that then?
That was special.
How about that?
Special.
Little Sunday morning special for you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday morning show. Good morning, Leicester.
Good morning, Dan.
We're on, yes.
You're joking. Always helps.
I know.
I
couldn't see. There's the light on the left side there. You've got the light on your side. So, how are you? And how has your week been, mate?
Very good. Busy week again, wasn't it?
Well, golf's back and it's pretty full on. We've got a new addition to the shop, which I don't know if I'm more excited about that than anything else for 2021.
He's already worked harder than both James and Will.
Really?
So yeah. It's done some work.
So we've got a new coffee machine in the shop, which has gone down an absolute storm with the members.
They're literally queuing up to get in to get a coffee out of it.
Yeah, we've got to do some little bit of social distancing with the coffee collections.
It's a COVID corner, isn't it?
COVID corner, yeah. So another little busy week on the channel as well as obviously from the shop and what we're doing up at the club here. So
yeah, really good week you had at China, or a good this week with China Fleet. Some great golf being played, so many birdies, like I didn't think it was possible to have that many birdies.
It was
and what a game, really good game.
I thought we were going to come back at them. Yeah. We let a couple slip, and I'm going to take full responsibility for Will's chip.
Yeah, I did see that.
Chip putt on 10. And it was basically, he got to the green and he had his putter and his 56 degree wedge, but he had so much green to work with. And I thought, the 56 is he's going to have to play something pretty special to get it to land and stop by the pin with the 56.
He's pretty
so that's why
though,
he is good for those, yeah. And I could see that he was a bit indecisive, like with the camera on or off, I can't remember. So I kind of nudged him to take the putter.
The putter's the percentage play, isn't it?
The putter was the percentage play, but ultimately the player has to take a bit of responsibility in that situation and say, you know what, I felt more comfortable in that. But I hold my hands up and I take full responsibility. I've had lots of comments come in complaining about it, so that was probably me nudging him in the wrong direction. But James did all the damage. Yeah. James did all the damage against Will and I. Paul was there early on, and then he sort of started falling apart a bit. But the killer for me was the birdie on the par 3 where we were I think 1 down going into that par 3 or 2 down going into that par 3, and James then I stick it in nice and close, and then James holds his putt across the green.
He's a class player, isn't he? They both. I mean, you're playing against two lads who both played European Tour. I mean, James had a full tour card a couple of times, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And obviously Paul's played on the European Tour.
Yeah.
Will's very much at the start of his journey.
Career, really, with golf, yeah.
And you're a club pro, no offence, but there's just levels, isn't there? People don't realise that I think the levels between, even between now looking at James and Paul and then going up to people that are making the cut on the European Tour, and then the guys that are winning in Europe, and then the guys that are winning majors. There's so many divisions and so many great players out there. But I mean, even to for yourself to compete against 3 golfers like that and hold your own, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So this week I was at Tavistock playing in the Alliance, and I met up with James. And this afternoon, I'm putting out a what's in the bag with James, because people always are interested in what these, certainly not just good players, but what anybody that comes on the channel, what they're using in their golf bag. And James has got some old stuff in there. Yeah. That he relies on, that he's been through battle with and he's stuck with over the time. But playing in the Alliance, it's the first time this year that I've actually played in a competition. I had to do my own card. It was the first time I've ever written my own card. Yeah. Because it's COVID cards, so you can't swap cards. No. But I shot 2 over par, which was tidy, which was all right for me. I didn't putt particularly well, but I hit the ball really, really good, so I was quite happy with that. But Will shot 6 under and won it.
Well, I mean, this week we've been away at. Me and you played here, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did an early morning one.
But on Tuesday we had a very early one to Royal North Devon.
To Royal North Devon, which we won't give away any spoilers on what we were doing at Royal North Devon.
But Will played very, very well. The last sort of 3 or 4 times I've been lucky enough to play with him, he's hit the ball. He's sort of gone up a level, really. I don't know whether the having that Euro Pro Tour card and the belief that you can compete and that you can possibly, he's really dominated and had a really good year despite restricted playing, I'd say.
If you look at his game though, like there's only one chink in the armoury with Will, and that's possibly his drive to work at his own game, to practice. Now, I'm not saying that then practice is the right thing for him to do, because if you think about Colin Montgomery was not a practicer. He wouldn't spend that much time on the range. We'll come to him in a minute, but Peter Alliss always used to say that he very rarely hit that many balls. He was more of just somebody just turned up, and if it felt all right, he'd just go with it. And Will is that player where he drives the ball long.
He's long, but he's reasonably accurate as well. Yeah, he doesn't.
He's very straight.
He doesn't. I mean, unless we're going for a big one, he doesn't spray the ball everywhere.
No.
He's a very good putter.
His
In fact, he's a
putting is
brilliant putter, to be
immaculate.
honest.
His putting is absolutely immaculate. I mean, I was chatting with him this week on the way when I was coming home from that event when he shot 6 under, and we were just discussing, because I was hammering my driver. Like I've not hit it that well for such a long time, but long for me, and Tavistock was playing long because it was wet, and Will was telling me where he was compared to where I was stepping out of my boots to hit it, because Tavi's a bit more open. I'll put a little clip up the top there for everybody to see the Tavistock vlog if you've not been and seen that one, where we played with James Pickard. Yeah. But the difference is he's 40 yards closer to the green off the tee from me. But his whole round game, his short game is, I call him like got his Spanish hands, because he's so accurate with his short game as well, isn't he?
If I was him, the one thing I reckon he needs to tighten up on is his mid irons. I think he's a good wedge player. His short game's good. He's a great putter and he hits the ball well off the tee. But I would say his mid irons.
Yeah. Well, he could come in here. And shank 10 in a row.
I've seen him do it. Then go, I'm going home.
Right, I'm going home.
Yeah. And then the next day he turns up and shoots 6 under.
Yeah. And doesn't come anywhere close to it in the shot, even though he did have a couple of close calls at China Fleet with the old chili dippers. But but again, like his clubs, maybe he needs to look at his clubs, because he's had his irons for such a long time now. Maybe because of the difference.
M2 driver. His driver's 4 or 5 years old.
It is. I mean, he still pounds that. He gets some great numbers in here with that driver. But so coming on then, and I think it's only right that we should mention it. Peter Alliss. I mean, such a shame for the passing of Peter Alliss this last week, and there's been some amazing tributes that we've seen within the golf world, and it just,
I don't think he looked that great on, and he didn't sound right. I don't think in the Masters.
Yeah, he was obviously having a bit of a tough time. Yeah.
Which, I mean, he must have known he was ill, but to actually even commentate on that tournament, and he didn't mention, he never dwelled on anything, did he? He didn't say, "Oh, this is, it's probably going to be my last." He never retired, did he? He just carried it until the end, which is, all credit and to him to how professional he was. But I didn't realise he was such a good player.
Oh yeah, I've seen 8-time Ryder Cupper.
I've seen, you do. I just obviously associate him with being a commentator.
Because he was before our generation.
When someone passes on, you generally have a little look and. All I do and see what they've done, and he was a hell of a golfer, and he struggled a little bit on the greens, and apparently if he could have been an average putter, he was regarded as a poor putter in those times. Did have won major championships,
but I played this year with Bob Anderson, who was world champion of darts, and
he struggled, didn't he? Really?
Throwing,
didn't he?
I think so. I think he had a bit of a tough time, but he had some amazing stories. He was very good, obviously very good friends, and played a bit of golf with Peter Alliss, and he had a number plate. Peter Alliss, 3-putt, 3-putt was his number plate, but. Yeah, he had an amazing career, really. That if you get a chance, go onto YouTube and look up Peter Alliss' 2012 World Golf Hall of Fame speech that he did, and it is absolutely fantastic. It brought a small tear to my eye listening to it on that day. But
he was a good after dinner speaker as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I heard. Were you at Churston?
No,
did you go to that? I was at Churston and heard him speak, and he was absolutely brilliant. Answered all the questions.
But he did it without a script or without any prompting. Just spoke,
natural.
which is some skill to do, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's that, you know.
You think all the scripts we've got for this?
Oh yeah. But you think about like the commentary that he created. Was it all just flowed? I can't imagine he's got notes written down there. He saw it and commentated on what he saw, you know, and it was absolutely fantastic. The tie though, and which comes to you and Laura, is that you both worked at the Palace Hotel. Yeah. And we talk about the Masters. And this is a little insight for a lot of people that won't know this, but Peter Alliss always used to commentate on it when the Masters was on, was when we talked about the Masters Par 3 Championships on the Wednesday before the Masters. Peter Alliss' father, Percy, who was also...
I've got a picture of him on my wall.
Also an amazing golfer and Ryder Cupper. But Percy and many Varden... Ted Ray, all these top players in their day.
Churston Professional?
Churston Professional, yeah. But they used to come down to the Palace Hotel in Torquay, where you and Laura used to work for Paul Uphill, and they used to play in the British PGA Par 3 Championships, which is what inspired Augusta to put on their Par 3 Championships before the event, and it was back in the 1930s when it all 1932, I believe, is when it first started at the Palace.
Yeah, it went on to 1970 at the Palace, and then they moved it to slightly longer Par 3 golf course. I think it still goes on now. I think Farm Food sponsored it a couple of years ago, and it tends to be you get the more the seniors playing in it, and some of the.
Well, we've had Richard O'Hanlon's been up and won.
Yeah, and I was going to say some of the fringe European Tour players tend to play, and a few of the ladies, and it's quite a good event apparently.
Yeah. So yeah, very sad, obviously, to say goodbye to Peter Alliss. I don't think watching the Open and listening to the commentary on that is ever going to be quite the same, but amazing career. So again, I tried to read as many of the comments as I possibly can from the vlogs and any videos that we put out, and one of them that's jumped out to us was going back to James Ruth at China Fleet, and he's got a little bit of a slight move within his golf swing that lots of people seem to pick up on. And I thought, whilst I was at Tavistock this week, I managed to meet up with James, as I said, and
that was his home club.
Exactly, and I asked him that question when we were down at Tavistock. So Tavistock Golf Club, which is where we're here today. This is where you grew up, isn't it? This is where you are from, and this is your old home club.
Yeah, parents introduced me. I think I joined here at the age of 7. That was my first membership. Got a set of Bernard Langer clubs, little white bag and everything. Yes, I've been sort of here since I was the age of 7.
But you're now at China Fleet, which is not overly a long way away from here, but obviously it gave you opportunities at China Fleet because of the facility that they've got there. To be able to coach a bit more and do all those other things that we do as pros. Yeah, when I started my coaching degree, China Fleet were brilliant in terms of helping me out, and then obviously got a driving range open until 9 o'clock at night, which is a huge help for the coaching side of things. Yeah. So one of the questions that I've seen, or one of the comments, well, actually a number of comments that have come in, tell us about this thumb position of yours on the club. What is that all about? Because I mean, I'll be honest with you, when people mention it, I thought, do you know what, I do know that you do that, but I've never really thought about it or looked at it in that much detail. Yeah. I'm never going to talk to you about your golf swing. So
I never knew about it, to be honest with you. Your brother Paul spotted it. I think we were looking through videos of my swing about 4 years ago on a flight to Spain. Yeah. And he pointed out, why is your thumb never on the golf club during your backswing? And I literally have no idea. I didn't even know I did it. So
do you think that it's more of a trigger, isn't it? So whereas I have a left toe movement, so as I take the club away, my left foot sprays out, I lift the left toe up and spray it out, which is my trigger to get going. Yeah. Yours, I think, is that thumb.
Yeah, it must be. It comes back on the club before impact, which is important, but yeah, I have no idea what it does during my golf swing.
Which thumb is it?
It's the right thumb, so it comes off as I take the club away and stays off it pretty much throughout the whole swing.
So if you grab a club, just grab a club out of your bag here a moment.
Yeah.
And just take it to the top of your golf swing and just show us where it would actually... So here, that's where you'd see the thumb come off. So you're not actually getting any sort of balance point with that thumb.
No pressure.
No pressure on that. So it's all then in this finger. So it must be in your forefinger as you kind of come down then.
And then as I come down to impact, the thumb is on the club.
It's back on the club there.
Correct,
so at impact, you've got a good amount of pressure going through into that thumb, because that's quite an important part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, it's just your trigger, and it's something you've had for a long time. Well, it's something you've probably always had.
I think I maybe noticed Jason Cockrack the other week. I think he is maybe one other player that has his thumb off it on the way back. I may be wrong with that, but I'm pretty sure watching the US golf, I noticed that maybe Jason Cockrack was the same.
Works all right for you? You've never looked to change it?
No. Well, I think it would put me off if I did.
I think we'll stick with it then, shall we? I think it's probably Paul telling you about it, trying to put you off.
Yeah, he was my partner that week. So.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
That's like amazing, isn't it? Like that he can actually almost re-grip it, swinging the club at that speed, and still have such control and accuracy.
What amazed me is when a lot of the time you can sit the club. A lot of people use the thumb at the top of their golf swing to balance the club as such at the top, and for him to not have that even on the club is quite interesting. But at the end of the day, all it is what I have it with my left foot. I have a trigger, what I call a trigger, which we've done videos on, but my left foot moves out, or it twitched just before I hit the shot, and James has got that when he takes the club away. It's just a small trigger that he's got with his thumb that gets the club going, I suppose. We've all got it, but it is interesting what we all bring to the table with our game. I mean, you wouldn't change it for James, would you? I mean, it's not doing him any damage.
If you change it, you might ruin his whole golf game, mightn't you? So, and he's a serial winner.
Absolutely. Right, I've got a question for you. Okay. I know we're trying to get our questions all in here. So from D. Hovis, I think this was a question from YouTube. Right. And I have a question for Lester. In your swing, is there a conscious effort to allow your right arm to cross over your left arm after impact? Thanks.
Is there a conscious effort?
So I've been thinking about this, and it's obviously as you come through, I'm assuming it's the right arm rolling over the left arm, which...
Yeah, I mean...
Is that conscious? Because ultimately that's going to release the face quite a lot if you're doing it.
I would say it's years of practice, almost my golf...
Do you even know you're doing it?
No, my golf swing, I was going to say, it's not conscious what I do generally in my golf swing. Sometimes I might be working on a particular fit move or particular feeling, but a lot of the time I just literally, especially on YouTube, we don't have time to think about stuff. No. I just stand there and hit it generally.
So with that in mind then, it's just...
Yeah, I mean, I would say I do that move, or I appear to be, right arm over the top of my left, mainly because I don't have a lot of leg action. So it tends to be my upper body.
Save, but then
I reckon I'm trying to save the club face, stopping it going right, because I tend to be... If you've seen my swing, it's been analysed a couple of times on YouTube by different channels, etc. But I tend to be a lot of hands and arms, and my hips get very much trapped, and they almost stop towards impact, which isn't ideal. But similar to James, I'm too old and haven't got the time, effort or energy to change anything majorly in my golf swing.
So what you're saying then, I mean, everybody has a natural rotation of the forearms as you come through the shot anyway. I mean, I could show you pictures up in here and good players that all get into that same position, but I think what Lester's saying is as he comes through, his hips quieten down fractionally, and then that activates the hands and arms maybe a little bit more, which in turn, I mean, you've learned how to deal with it over the years.
Yeah, I mean...
But it's something that probably... With regards to your club face, it would make you a slightly more
consistent. Yeah, I mean that is the major issue. If I'm playing 3, 4, 5 times a week and hitting balls, then I can get away with stuff like that. And when I was playing decent golf in my sort of early 20s as an amateur, I could get away with that. Now I don't play so much. I'm not so competitive. I mean, we all hit wilder shots than we did when we were in our 20s. So it probably would be something I'd have to work on, but like I said, I've got no real ambitions to improve or change. I just enjoy playing golf, really.
Fair enough.
If I play well, it's a bonus. If not, it doesn't really make no difference to my life.
So I've got another one.
Okay.
So James Conforti. I'm sorry, James, if I've got that slightly wrong. What's your opinion on Paul's lack of distance compared to you, Lester?
I wouldn't say he lacks much distance compared to Paul is a much more consistent striker than I am. So probably if you took 18 holes or 2 or 3 rounds, then if you did our driving distance, would probably be similar. But I probably got 10, 15 yards on him at certain times. Not always when I know when it's coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean
Problem is he's so accurate with his long irons,
I mean,
it's difficult to sort of...
Yeah, he's such a great player, Paul. He's probably born 30 or 40 years too late, really, because 30 or 40 years ago probably wasn't so much on distance of the tee, and he would have...
narrow, wasn't it?
I mean, Paul's a great player, and I've said it, I've played with guys that have played on the European Tour. I played with a European Tour winner, and Paul is as impressive the way he strikes it and as consistent as any of those guys. You know, I played with someone who won the BMW PGA at Wentworth. Yeah. I wasn't, you know, he's a great player, don't get me wrong, the guy. But Paul, I've seen Paul, you know,
he's not out of place.
No, he's definitely not out of place. Maybe it's taken him a long time to realise that, possibly. I don't know if it's a confidence thing as well. And if Paul could hit the ball 20 yards further, I truly believe he'd have a European Tour card now.
I agree.
And be making cuts.
I agree.
This is from Keith Turnbull.
Yeah.
And he's put, when I was learning to play in the early 70s, it was common to be taught to choke down playing short game shots as you get close to the green for better control.
Yeah.
Nowadays, no one seems to do that. No one seems to mention it. The last time Dan mentioned choking down, I think, was with the Ping Glide 3-0 wedges, as the grips had markings to help this. Is there any reason for it falling out of favour? Maybe you and Dan could do a little Sunday morning segment on the pros and cons of the choke down as part of your short game specials.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's actually gone anywhere. I think that there's lots of people that still do it. I think when I certainly do it a lot with, if I'm starting to get the heel of the club up off the ground and playing little shots around the greens, I will choke down on it. It's probably something that just doesn't really get discussed. If I've got a 7-iron in my hand or something like that I'm chipping and running with, I'm generally going to grip down the club because it's a lot longer. So I think we can do more about that. Yeah. And I'd like to do possibly another video off the back of that question that's come in, because you know, I'd like to understand the statistics on it as well, so the numbers that go with it, kind of thing, you know.
I guess as well it also relates to sort of, we had a little discussion earlier about hitting a full shot and choking down on it, whether you do that.
And I definitely do that.
Yeah, I do it as well. I mean, maybe we do it without sometimes letting the viewer who's watching it say, oh, we're going to choke down on this one, or we're going down the shaft on it. Yeah. Possibly. It's just subconscious, isn't it? You don't think about it, you just do it to take a bit of distance off it.
So we will definitely do that, but we'll probably create another video off the back of that, sort of like a standalone video on that side of it. This week then, you're having another week off.
Am I?
We're at Newport this week. We're back up into Wales. This is the back end of, this was done a little while ago when we were at the Rolls of Monmouth. We then played at Newport, and we bump into a Ryder Cup star at Newport Golf Club. And I managed to grab hold of him and do a little interview with him, so that'll be part of the vlog. But we're on the chase for another 59. So it's our last 59 that we've done, but we're on the chase for it, and it's an exciting, great golf course at Newport, and amazing golf course, and so we'll be sharing that one with you for this week. Do you have anything else that you would like to report on the Sunday morning show?
I've eaten all the chocolates, as you'll find out shortly.
Have you smashed them again?
Yeah, they're all gone. I'll have to replace them when I...
Yeah, you will. You can't even blame members, because they're not even allowed to put their hand in and take them. So it's been you.
It's me, yeah. I got nobody to blame but myself.
I leave you on your own for one day in the shop.
I was bored.
And you smashed
comfort food. I missed you.
Right guys, thank you very much for watching the Sunday morning show. If you are new to the channel, this is our Sunday morning show. We round up everything that's kind of gone on throughout the week and let you know what's happening for next week. So please subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel. We're not far away now from our 30,000 subscribers, so thank you everybody for subscribing and being involved with the channel. We're loving it and we're looking forward to 2021. We'll see you all next week for the next Sunday morning show.
See you next week.
See you next week.